There are a ton of super affordable dip kits on Amazon, and I wanted to know whether or not they were really worth it, so I purchased this Beetles dip kit to find out. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Jeannie, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you my experiences using this dip kit and whether I think they are a dip it or dump it. Just taking a look at the packaging, on the back of the box it does have directions, which I think are great to include, as well as what's included in this kit. So you get 6 dip powders, some dip liquids, and a dip toolkit, whatever that means. And then you'll see here I did purchase the candy cane set, so I had plans to use this for Christmas, but I didn't get around to it. But lucky enough, they're reds and glitters and they work perfectly for Valentine's Day, so super excited to finally give this a try. Also, the kit did not come with a clear dip powder, so I did purchase this separately because I wanted to try all Beetles products for this mani. So this is a 1 ounce jar that I purchased, so we'll also do a review of their clear dip powder. I didn't open this kit prior to filming, so let's go ahead and get into it and see what all is included. So immediately as soon as I open the lid, I see that it includes a nail file. So this is a 100/180 grit nail file, and it's not your standard size, but it's definitely not one of those little mini ones that some kits include that you can't grip onto. So I'll definitely be using that. And this kit is very well packaged. So here there is an insert, so it does also include instructions on how to use this kit, which I think is great if you're a beginner. It tells you what to do, as well as it gives instructions on doing a French manicure, which I think is awesome. So here are the 6 colors that this candy cane set comes with, as well as it comes with a dip tray, which is really great for French manicures, for laying in, for marbling. So I really like that they included that. We've got some replacement brushes just in case your brush gets contaminated. And then I'm not sure what this sponge is. I think it's just an insert to protect the tray. I don't know. For liquids, it comes with a small bottle of activator, and I just shook it just to make sure it wasn't empty. And then a step 1 and 3, which is a combined base and top coat. Now let's take a quick look at the colors that come in this collection. So after I take them out, I do swatch them off camera, and I'll show you that after I show you the colors in the jar. So each of these jars are a pretty good size. So they're a little less than half an ounce. They're 0.42 ounces according to the box. And they're in this really cute, like rounded square packaging. I love that they come sealed, and that way you don't have to worry about leakage in transit. The colors really are beautiful, and I had no issue swatching them. I didn't, however, use the liquids that came in this kit because they were smaller bottles and I didn't want to use them up. So just checking the consistency of the dip base. It's a very thin dip base. And then I'm just putting it in my liquid chaos holder just because these bottles are super small, super light, and I don't want to accidentally knock them over. So I'm starting with this white, and I gave it a good stir first because I did notice that it needed a stir or else it could look a little bit chalky. So I wanted to make sure that I stirred it really well before I used it. So getting into the dip base, I'm going to do the white on my ring finger because we're going to do just a little bit of nail art for it to make it a little more Valentine's Day themed. I will say this dip base, it is thinner consistency. I actually really loved it. It is thin. It didn't flood my cuticles. It dried probably about a fast to medium time. It wasn't super fast, but it wasn't super slow either. So I'd say kind of, fast to medium dry time, but really easy to work with. And overall, so far, really love the dip base and top coat. In fact, if full-size bottles are available on Amazon, I might actually pick them up because I actually enjoyed working with it. So far so good, and no problems with the white. So you see it kind of went on pretty evenly, and white can be notoriously difficult to work with. I did miss a little spot there, and I maybe just dried a little bit faster because of my peel base. Typically, I don't have that problems with my UNT peel base where my dip base will dry faster, but I've noticed with the Adrada dip base, I had that issue where it dried faster with my dip base. So it may be the same with this Beetles dip liquids, I'm not really sure, but I was able to fully cover it with my second layer. I am dipping over my Peach BT Art Box tips, and you'll see after my first dip of the white that you still kind of see that color through, so it isn't completely opaque in one dip, but I do get full coverage after 2 dips. So I'd say just keep that in mind if you're using this powder, that if you want full opacity, you need to do at least 2 full dips. The next colors I'm going to be using are a red and a glitter, and I don't want to contaminate my white nail or stain it with the red. So I'm going to go ahead and cap it in clear and activate it, and that way I don't have to worry about, I'm especially worried about staining it with that red, because if some stray red gets on my unactivated white nail, it could definitely stain it, and I want it to stay white. Now that I've got my ring finger activated, I'm going to move on to the darker red in this collection, which is 167. And look, I drew on my tip with a permanent marker. I was too lazy to get my label maker when I was doing the swatches, so I decided I'd just label them with some permanent marker, which I do sometimes. But I totally wasn't paying attention and I drew on my tip. And normally I would have tried to remove that permanent marker with maybe some rubbing alcohol or some acetone, but I had my peel base on, so I didn't want to remove my peel base and start over, so I just totally left it. So the good news is I get enough opacity from this red that it covered up the permanent marker and you can't see it. So really good opacity from this red, and you can see on my finger it actually did not stain, which I always appreciate because when I work with darker colors I'm always worried it's gonna stain my skin, but this did not stain at all. While I continue to dip, let's talk about the pricing and availability of this dip kit. As I said, I did pick this up off of Amazon, and when I bought it, it was, I can't remember exactly, it was about $20 or $30 for the kit, which is really reasonable considering I get the dip liquids, a couple tools, as well as 6 almost half-ounce dip powders. At the time I'm recording it though, it is on sale for $9.99, which is a steal. So I'll leave the link for that down below in the description. It's linked in my Amazon storefront, which is an affiliate link. So feel free to use it. You don't have to. You can also search for the kit on your own if you don't want to use that. And then the 1 ounce jar of the clear dip powder, I got it for less than $20. I'm thinking it was like $15 or $16. At the time of this voiceover as well, it is on sale for $8.99, so definitely check that out as well, and hopefully it'll still be on sale by the time I get this video up. I'm speeding up my second layer a bit, but I did want to point out I wasn't sure whether this red would stain my dip base brush because it is a white brush. So I got out that extra lint-free wipe just in case I needed to wipe it off after applying the base to my nails, and it actually did not stain, which totally impressed me because it is a highly pigmented red. I don't know how it didn't stain, but I am really glad it didn't. I mean, it is actually, regardless of staining, good hygiene and practice to wipe your dip base brush after applying to your nail, but I am bad and I don't do that. My last nail is going to be a glitter nail because you know I have to incorporate glitter somewhere in my mani, And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and cap my solid red nails in clear because I don't want to contaminate them with a stray glitter. And this will also be a good test of how good this Beetles clear is, which I also picked up off of Amazon. You know, usually when you're working with clear, you can tell the quality when you're using it over darker colors or with a glitter. And we'll be doing both with this mani to see how well it performs. This glitter, I think, is like a rose gold, but in certain lightings, I'm thinking maybe it's more of a champagne-y. I'm not really sure. It's definitely not a yellow gold. It's definitely not like a silver. So it's somewhere in between there, but either way, it is very, very pretty. So this one has fine glitters and small glitters, so it's not super chunky at all, so I don't have to worry about pour over method or anything like that. So for my first layer, I just laid my finger in the jar, and I wasn't really sure how this glitter would work out. I think I was most concerned about a dip kit from Amazon and glitters, thinking I wouldn't get good coverage or full coverage. I wasn't sure, and I don't know why. I shouldn't really have that stigma about dip kits on Amazon. Just because they're on Amazon doesn't mean they're not good. So you'll see how this turns out when I get to my second layer. Actually, you probably already saw in the thumbnail. So anyway, for the second layer, I decided I might as well try this dip tray that they included in it, just because. So I went ahead and poured my whole jar of the glitter in there, and I'm just tapping it against the table to bring all the chunkier pieces, it's not chunky, but all the larger pieces of glitter to the surface. And that way, after I apply my full layer of dip base, I can lay my finger flat in there. And I didn't do this when I swatched and I got pretty good coverage, so it probably wasn't necessary. I probably could have just dipped in the jar and gotten good coverage that way, but I just wanted to try this tray because I thought it was cute. I went ahead and filed and buffed off camera, and honestly, it didn't require much work at all. Everything applied so smoothly and beautifully. And now I remember why I don't use hand files anymore, because I actually nicked myself because I didn't use my e-file. I just used the hand file that they provided in this kit. Now I'm going to do a little bit of nail art on my ring finger, and I'll be using my glow-in-the-dark gel art liners from iGel Beauty, and I do have an affiliate code. You can now use code PURPLELICIOUS15 to save 15% off your order. So getting into the nail art, I've been seeing this trend a little bit of like 3D hearts. They kind of look like conversation hearts without the words, because I can't even imagine trying to write tiny letters on my nails. So I'm going to try that. It looked super easy. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my regular heart method. And when I draw hearts, I start with 2 dots next to each other. So I didn't want to use a dotting tool, so I'm just using the tip of the liner brush. And I'm just using that to put down 2 small dots next to each other. And once I've got those down, then I will connect them into that heart shape. So I'll kind of use drag them down to kind of make a little bit of a V to connect them and start making that heart shape. For me, this is the easier way to draw hearts because if I try to freehand it, they end up looking really lopsided. So I find that, drawing those, or not drawing, but putting those dots down first kind of gives you that kind of baseline template. And then you can kind of just drag them down with your liner brush into that V, making that point. And then you can just kind of fill it in after that. You can make it a little bit larger if you want your heart a little bit larger, but that kind of gives you a good starting point for your heart and it becomes a little more uniform. So I'm going to do this 2 more times with some other colors. I want to just do like multiple colors just to kind of tie all the colors of this mani together. So I'm just giving it a good stir first because these are glow in the dark liners. So I want to make sure that the glow pigments haven't settled because I do want this to glow. So now I'm getting into my top coat, but I wanted to refresh myself on their directions just to make sure I was following what they said to do. And this is where things went awry. It actually says apply your layer of activator, wait 20 seconds, and then go in with your first layer of top coat. Wait 2 minutes after your first layer of top coat, and then apply your second layer for the most shine, which just sounded super odd. That's not typically what I do, but it is the brand's instructions, so I felt like I had to follow them because it's my first time using the liquids, and I just felt like they probably know best, right? So maybe there's something different about it, but you'll see what happens. So I waited my 20 seconds with my activator. I'm going to go in with my top coat. I'm going to do 2 to 3 quick swipes on each nail, wipe off on a lint-free wipe, and then we will get into the second layer. So I waited 2 minutes and now I'm going to go in with my second layer of dip top coat. And just as I was afraid of, my brush hardened. So I contaminated my top coat. And I feel like, I felt like it was too soon to go in with the top coat after activator, but that's what the directions said. So I was a little bummed. I could have used one of the replacement brushes. I don't know. I wasn't thinking, so I didn't use it. So I'm going in using this brush, finishing up my second layer. And I have to say major props to this top coat, because even though the top coat went on streaky, I couldn't get an even layer because the brush was hardened. It leveled like a dream. Like, you can't even tell that I had issues with the top coat because it dries so smoothly and evenly. I was seriously impressed. I'm finishing off my mani with my Scales of Mermaid Cuticle Balm in the scent Wonderland, and this was an exclusive freebie scent, I believe, in December, and she had some extras, so she recently released them to her site, and of course I bought a backup. I absolutely love her cuticle balms. They're so hydrating and they don't leave behind that greasy feeling, and they're really great to travel with as well. You don't have to worry about them spilling in your purse. And here is the finished look. What do you think? I am actually really happy with the way it turned out. If you want to see a full tutorial on doing the 3D hearts, let me know and I'll do more of an in-depth, because I know I kind of sped through it. But let me show you the glow of these liners. How fun is that? So anyway, let me get to final thoughts on this Beetles dip kit that I picked up off of Amazon. I would highly recommend it. I thought it performed really well. The powders were great. Absolutely love the liquids. And I actually did pick up the full-size bottles on Amazon because I loved them and I was so impressed with how the top coat leveled. It's super shiny, and I'm usually not a big dip base plus top coat user. Usually I like separate, but it worked really well. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend this kit, and I probably will maybe even pick up some more colors because it was well worth it. And as far as the clear powder, I would highly recommend that as well. No graininess, no cloudiness, no complaints. So all in all, Beetles Dip Kit, Beetles Clear, definitely a dip it. I wouldn't dump it. They are great quality. I absolutely love them. And I actually am thinking about creating a dip it or dump it series where occasionally I'll pick up other brands of dip kits on Amazon and kind of do a first impressions on here. Let me know down below if that's something you'd be interested in. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you'd enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue creating content like this, and it also helps YouTube recommend me to others. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I upload content every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you hit that bell, you get notified anytime I upload. As always, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.